and it's still come to the point where it always involves the economic side, and I'm talking about a solution that can happen now. And getting back to where I left off with Senator Inouye, if we go and we protest, we should go with thousands of Hawaiians on a petition, say, Senator, we want a bank. We want to own a Native Hawaiian bank. We beneficiaries. If you put all our interests together, we all become shareholders. I'd like to collect dividends every 3 months. I believe one quarterly interest of dividends that Walter Dodds got was like $2 million.
Wow.
And that's as a shareholder. At that time, his shares in First Hawaiian Bank was 7 million shares.
And everyone, Walter Dodds was he the president?
Yeah, he was the ex-CEO for
CEO
First Hawaiian Bank.
First Hawaiian Bank.
And I'm bringing him up because I just know I'm not reading about this stuff. We actually experienced dealing with a lot of these guys. From I forget his Ken, what's his name, from Bank of America to.
Well, for a question for you, since Inouye has come out, you were mentioning that he did come out in favor of a banking system for the Native Americans.
Right.
Have we approached him regarding this? Not that we need Senator Inouye's permission to go forward on this, but maybe what you're thinking is that if he were to support it, it'd be easier for more people to buy into it. I'm not clear on that.
No, I think we hold him accountable. This is what we want to do. And so.
And do you think he would support that? I mean, have we asked him yet?
No, and this is the organizing part now. I really wouldn't mind having you and Yverne. I think she's interested in getting together and coming up with some kind of committee, and anybody else that's interested in this, send me an email, because we got to build a committee on every island that actually looks and starts to actually put this into motion, so that we really can do something. Now, I believe that once our people start to catch on to this, talk about protests, instead of the Akaka bill, why don't we put that on hold? And why don't you guys in Congress, all the federal representatives, the state representatives, and all the unions that's supporting these guys, and all the trusts, instead of doing that, help us develop a Native Hawaiian owned and controlled bank. Okay,
so if we were looking at a time frame, how long would it take us to develop a Native Hawaiian bank so that would it be possible for these trusts that are coming under attack to take their assets, to put it all in a Native Hawaiian bank? How would those assets be protected? Because my idea is, let's say they fail completely at the federal level, at the Supreme Court level,
right,
and they fail, but it's still wrapped up in a Native Hawaiian bank. So the interest, the fees, the revenue that bank makes could still be used
for our programs,
for Native Hawaiian programs, to support Native Hawaiian programs.
Right.
The thing that I guess the Supreme Court would affect would be the constitutionality of our programs, meaning possibly forcing some of the programs to be opened up to non-natives. But your idea is that would probably be immaterial.
That's right.
Looking at the big scheme of things, that we're taking care of our people now, because we have a vehicle that makes money,
right,
that makes resources, that has funds and is growing funds, and those funds can be used to leverage what we want in our community.
Exactly.
Right.
We would be, in other words, for our people and people watching this show, we would be partners in a business. And the business would be banking, financial institution, having a share and being part owner of that financial institution. And our business could make up its mind as to what it wants to fund and what it doesn't want to fund. Also, the Akaka bill is under the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Now, however, and that's the Department of Interior. However, the Native Hawaiian Bank would be basically protected by federal regulations, FDIC, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, the Federal Reserve Bank, and you would be under the Department of Treasury. And for me, that I'm for total independence of Hawaii from America, I would rather sit under the Department of Treasury in the meantime.
Oh yeah.
than the Department of Interior, which is dealing with something that, hey, forget it if we're going to support something that is telling us we can't claim anymore. I mean, I don't want to even go down that road, but the Native Hawaiian owned and controlled bank would totally become a self-sufficient a business for us. Mm-hmm. And if we decide, you know, I remember Ken Conklin went on an attack with me on this issue. He said, well, or even Burgess said, oh, well, that's unconstitutional. Hawaiians can own. Yeah, well, we can own 51% of it, you know, and we can allow those that we would want to be part of our business, right?
To be a part.
There's a whole bunch of non-Hawaiians.
That's what corporations do.
That's right.
When they incorporate, they decide who the incorporators are going to be,
That's
who the
right.
original shareholders are going to be. Come on.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I really want to reiterate your point about Department of the Interior versus Department of Treasury. And I mean, people, we got to know what the Department of Interior has done to Native American land, assets, money, funds, and how they've mishandled it, how they've been sued, and now this new Akaka bill, no chance to be sued, so they can do whatever they want with our stuff. I mean, it's amazing, and I definitely have never, from day one, when the discussion about the Akaka bill came forward, I said, how would anyone want to and agree to the Department of Interior to manage their trust assets or their assets, their resources, their aina, their kupuna, their ancestors? It doesn't make any sense.
No.
It doesn't make any sense. And now currently in the news, I've just read maybe about a month ago that, I don't know if he's done it or not, but the Bush regime has moved to take out the judge who was supporting, you know,
Judge Lambert, yeah.
Exactly, Judge Lambert, who was really an advocate for Native Americans, making sure the Department of Interior would do what they're supposed to do. He's being removed from his position, so that the Department of Interior can continue to do what they do.
Yeah, it's you know.
I mean, that's crooked. You know, we're talking about viable solutions. That's just unbelievable. So read, keep informed.
And that's what we're walking into. I mean, those that support the Akaka bill is walking into a big mismanagement of trust funds of the Native Americans. So, you know, it's almost like, you know, if there was a fire, these guys would have been burnt to a crisp already, you know. I mean, real. Yeah. So, you know, the bank idea is not an old idea. It's just that we're fortunate because we are beneficiaries of this wealth that I keep bringing up because, you know, it's basically that simple. We have all this wealth, yet we've been looking at the land and the natural resources, and that portion of our movement is concentrated so much on that. And yet we haven't been to the place where, hey, let's go and grab our economic right now.
That's right. That's right. I don't think people think in those terms.
Yeah,
you know, they think, oh, we have cultural rights, you know, and we have certain inalienable rights, but we also have economic rights.
That's right.
You know, and that's a really good point. You've done an excellent thing, which really was interesting on your website, and anybody who's interested in the website, it's bumpykanahele.com. So I encourage you to look at it.